The Unfiltered by Jade.
Jade.
Welcome to the Unfiltered by Jade, where we get out of the box and dive into topics that are sidelined. I look forward to entertain, educate, and inspire. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, donate, and make everybody know about this.
Beats by RB Records, a proud sponsor of The Unfiltered by Jade.
Shopping Assistance Jamaica takes the stress away. Our services include online and local shopping in Jamaica for individuals and businesses, personal shopping, purchasing of company and office supplies, importing and exporting small packages across Jamaica and worldwide, helping you to find unique gifts and items for all events and occasions. Contact us at 876 919 5195. Shopping Assistance 2015 at gmail.com. Follow Shopping Assistance on Instagram at Shopping Assist JA, at Twitter at Shopping Assist 5, and Facebook at The Shopping Assistance. Shopping Assistance, your style, your budget. Welcome back to the Unfiltered by Jade. Today we have with us Daniellia, and she's here to speak with us about sickle cell. And the topic today is sickle cell does not control me. So with Daniellia, she is a published author. She's an entertainment executive. She's an advocate and a podcaster, and she's the owner of two companies. And she does a lot, but her biography was that long. If it is that if it is that I'd started reading it, I'm not sure if we'd get through with the podcast today. So I decided that, if you guys want to know more, you can go and check her out. Right. She has a lot about her. So before we do that, hello Daniellia.
Hi, Jade. And I know I do a lot.
You do a lot. Yes, you do. And I'm very impressed. Very impressed by
Thank
it.
you.
Sure. So let's jump into it. What is sickle cell and what are the symptoms of this?
Basically, sickle cell is a blood disorder. It's hereditary, so it means that it was passed down genetically from both parents.
Mm.
My parents have the trait, which is a whole long story. My father knew that he had it, but my mom got a negative when she did the test at first. Then I was born with sickle cell, only to realize that boom, she has the trait. So I have it full
Mm.
blown.
Okay, okay, okay.
Some of the symptoms which are common amongst us would be extreme jaundice. And when I say extreme, we have very pale skin sometimes,
Okay.
very pale eyes. So our eyes look yellow. Um, a lot of young children, babies going into about 10, 12, thereabout, have extended stomach. Some adults still do, but it's usually common in children because as we grow older, we're supposed to have what you call a shrinking of the spleen.
Mm.
Sometimes that doesn't happen, and in some cases, adults tend to have either enlarging stomachs because they still have their spleen, or if they're like me, they don't have any because they had to take it out. So
Mm.
that is something very common. So we know normal red blood cells are supposed to be shaped like a donut without the hole cut out.
Right.
So it's round. Or is it shaped like a quarter moon? Or like
Mm.
if you watch Disney and you saw the twins, I think it was called Twitches. One of them had a star and one of them had a crescent.
Right.
Yes, ours is shaped like that, which means that it's a sickled cell. Hence the term sickle cell disease.
Oh.
Yes. So
Mm.
it's referred to medically as a sickled cell. And because of that, we have less hemoglobin, less oxygen, all of those things that comes with your red blood cells. We have less of it because of how our cells are shaped. which means that everywhere that blood flows affects us. So from my scalp go right down to my foot bottom doesn't get the amount of oxygen and hemoglobin that is necessary. So it leads to extreme pain. Our immune system is very low. So as anything come, we catch it. So it's a lot. Yeah. So I have to be very, very careful about how we treat our bodies.
Right. I had an interest in it because I realized that, well, someone I know, um, their daughter died, and it's when their daughter died they realized that the daughter had sickle cell. Because they know the mom, they know the mom had it, but it wasn't figured out if the father had it or not. And when it is that the child died, that's when the father realized that he also had the trait of sickle cell. That's how I knew how people get sickle cell. As old as I am, I did not know
Yeah.
that that was how. And she got dengue fever. She was in Jamaica, so she had gotten the dengue fever, and I think from that she had died. And they found out all of these things. So I'm like, I didn't know that. Generally we hear about it, sickle cell, but we don't know how people get it. We don't know what it is, and many times we don't do our researches. We
Yeah.
don't and we are sometimes afraid to ask questions. So even doing this topic today, it's really to enlighten people and to make people aware of it, because sometimes we just hear things that we don't know what it is and we move past it.
And it's funny you touched on that not knowing. Everybody knows about it because they've heard about it.
Yes.
But what we find, especially myself and some of my friends who have it and are also advocates, what we find is that a lot of persons, the knowledge is lacking on it. And the
Yes.
knowledge is lacking because we don't have a lot of persons who want to talk about the harsh realities of sickle cell disease. It's not one of those things that people like hearing about. It's very, very morbid in some cases. Some of the struggles that we have to talk about because we can't talk about the disease without talking about the struggles of it.
Right, right,
It really does make you sad. Because you're talking about children and you mentioned somebody dying from dengue fever.
right,
On an average, dengue fever would not kill somebody,
right,
but because of the limited or the very low immune system, because it's not limited, it's very, very low, you have less chances of fighting anything. And so you just imagine us also having constant health issues and then to also combat things like COVID, dengue.
yeah,
Um,
that's a lot.
if listen, it's a lot,
It's
girl.
a lot.
It's made me very fearful of people.
Yes, I can imagine.
And so, yeah, I mean, I love people. But when it comes on to, I don't go around people who have the sniffles, and it could be a sinus. I love you to death, but you have to stay far because already I'm compromised, but makes it worse. I have no spleen. So there's nothing to fight for me. I have to literally guard myself at all times. So it's very hard.
As you even spoke about even the dengue, I've had it twice, for God's sake. And I mean, I saw when she had it and she just died, and I'm like, I've had this thing
Yeah,
twice. So it's even from that I've also understood how serious it is, because normally, and I mean, she's not the first one. I've known others with it, and I've seen them in pain. And even when it's time to get pregnant, I've seen how hard it is sometimes and the difficulty that they go through. But sometimes, you say, well, it's a lot, but you really don't know the impact
yeah.
or how it really is and the toll it takes on their bodies.
It's really hard. It's really, really hard. And it's such a complex topic, and we have to also be very mindful that we don't talk too much about our struggles. So it's two part. You're also dealing with the physical pain as a person who is battling every day with sickle cell disease. I can tell you, I also have to deal with the physical part, but more than the physical part, I have to be careful about how it is that I talk about my disease, because then I can lose friends, I can lose relationships, I
How, s-
can be
how so?
isolated. Girl,
How so though?
So, all right, so sickle cell disease is, you mentioned the pain, 10 chances to 1, and I'm one of the very lucky, blessed, might I add,
Mm-hmm.
persons in my circle. I don't get sick as often, but girl, grateful. However, when we think about the average person with sickle cell disease, you think about constant hospitalization, constant doctor visits because the pain that they go through. We're talking about people who are experiencing, just imagine me taking a hammer and beating you with it.
Oh no.
That's how it feels.
Oh wow.
So it's bone crushing pain. And on top of bone crushing pain, I have to deal with the fact that every day is painful. And I don't mean metaphorically, every day is literally physically painful.
Oh wow.
We wake up sometimes, and if we wake up, depending on the temperature drop suddenly, we end up having muscle spasms. Sometimes you can't even get out of bed. So you find that a lot of these persons, to go through the day, they have to also be taking medication. You have persons with sickle cell disease that take medication daily for whatever reasons. And I'm not talking medication like, two vitamins and whatever.
Right, right,
I'm
right.
talking medication like Panadine F. I'm talking medication like morphine. I'm talking
Wow.
medication like pethidine.
Those are some
Things that
serious medications.
exactly. So you're thinking about the whole man. And then the more I spend time in hospitals, and the more I spend time in hospitals, it means I don't have enough time to socialize. It also means it
Ah,
affects my education because I have to be coming out of school to go lay down in a hospital bed. I have to technically take longer to get a degree because I don't have the same stamina that you have. Everybody is working on a different blood count and a different oxygen level, and I'm working on literally a quarter of that, not even half, a quarter of that. So it makes it a little bit harder. So there are a lot of other aspects to consider and not just the physical part. Let us touch relationships. No, that's a whole nother level because
Jesus.
entering relationships with people, they now get to see the raw truth of the disease. Today you'll be good, you'll be at the beach enjoying yourself with your significant other, and the hour after that you are in extreme pain and need to be hospitalized.
Wow.
So it's not a regular partner who going to know that you, I mean, we want to have fun and we want to do certain things, but we are limited to doing that. So if I'm going to use myself for example, I do not I rarely do go to rivers.
Okay.
And I don't go to rivers because I am physically incapable of going into the water. So it makes no sense for me to go because the temperature of the water is too cold.
Right.
So I just avoid it altogether. I'm a water person. I love the water. So not going to a river is a sacrifice that I just have to make. What do I
Yes.
do instead? I go to a beach. I will go to a beach and I'll tend to choose the morning parts of the day because it's less likely that the beach will be cold.
Oh.
So going to outings, I'm very, if you are on my social media, you see that I'm very active. I'm always outside because I love outside. But I'm outside responsibly because I have to think about every single facet of being outside. When I think about even certain things, I don't go out with people who don't understand my illness because it
Right.
just makes it very stressful to have to explain it in the moment when you need to rush to a hospital or in the moment where you cannot truly enjoy the entire thing.
Yes.
So the other day we went to my girlfriends and we decided to take a road trip and the scenery was beautiful. We went to a falls. Now, of course, falls come from river. So
Mm-hmm.
me going was one. But I went to a river the other day and the temperature wasn't cold. So
Okay.
I said, okay, fine. Let me go. If it is that whatever, I'll sit it out. And one of my other girlfriends took her mom as well. And her mom was like, how do you feel? Because they're in the falls enjoying themselves. And I'm literally sitting on watching them enjoy themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to her, this has become normal for me. And they now know that when I say I'm okay, I'm not pretending to be okay. I'm genuinely okay sitting it out. Because I'd rather to go home to my comfortable bed
That's right.
than to go to a hospital. So that's
Yeah.
just the reality. That's the reality of life with sickle cell disease.
It's a lot. And but I don't, how should I say this? I think though that persons should not be afraid to talk about what they're going through, because it's what affects them. So if it is that it's gonna probably stop you from having the amount of friends or people liking or people wanting to be around you, I guess those persons should not be around you, because you have to understand if it
Yeah.
is that your friend is going through something and you can't understand it, or you feel like it's a bother, or you feel like, boy, you can't do this, or you can't have fun, you just probably shouldn't be around them.
And it took me a little while to I totally agree with you. It took me a little while to get to that level because all through high school, I remember being teased because, as I said, I had a spleen then. So my stomach was big. And because my stomach was big, my uniforms were big because I didn't like to show the fact that my stomach was big. So
Right.
it's almost look, just imagine a girl in big tunic, almost looking like I have no boobs and a big stomach.
Yeah.
I got teased. I thought people tell me that I have kwashioka, one bag of something. Girl, my eyes were yellow, skin pale, whatever. I was sick regularly. And I remember going through a phase where I almost didn't want to tell anybody that I had sickle cell because I knew that telling people resulted in me either losing friends or me being teased or something of the sort. And it was in my college days that I realized that, hey, I have it. I didn't ask for it. I have it simply because I am alive. So it's not a case where I went and I prayed for it. And I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. I'm telling you the truth. It's
Mm.
not something that I would wish on anybody because it's very painful. But it is what it is. And so I'm going to stop diminishing myself so that
That's
other
right.
people can feel good.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I'm now at a place where I'm okay with talking about it. Anything you want to know, ask me. Use me as a benchmark to getting tested because I am now an advocate because I'm very big on that. Go
Yes.
get tested. Make sure you know before. And if it is that you know and make a decision to have a child, know that this child will be in your care for the rest of their lives. Normal parents will tell you that no man, after 18, we can ship them off to college, them a big woman, big woman. No. I am turning 30 in October and I can always rely on my parents to be there.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it's simply because when I need to be rushed to the hospital at 3 a.m. in the morning, I can't call any and everybody.
Right.
So my parents are just stuck with me, and that's a
Mm-hmm.
decision that they made.
Right. Right.
But yeah, as you say, you don't need people around who are not okay with you being all of yourselves.
Very true.
So
What I'm happy about and what I've seen or heard you talk about is that you, even though you have this and you're going through your daily struggles, you still don't allow it to cripple you, because you have so many things under your belt. And that's the good part of it, because you have so many other persons going through this and they have basically given up on life because of it.
yeah,
You have said it took a while for you to reach a certain place now where this is it, you're not comfortable talking about it despite what others may say or have to do. What about others who don't have that hope? They don't have those people around them, because not everyone can find gems who will be with you regardless or despite, in spite of whatever it is that you're going through. What kind of encouragement it is that you'll give to those persons? And you also spoke about even at school, and people would tease you. How did you overcome the teasing, and how did you get to a place of, listen, if you want to tease me, that's fine? How did it affect your school?
I mean, If I'm being honest, during high school, I went through a lot.
Okay.
A lot in terms of sickle cell, a lot in terms of also being sexually abused. I just went through a lot.
Okay.
And so I think my avenue for everything to deal with myself and the thoughts that I had and wanting to not be around, because I mean I've been there. Wish me never did born, because if me never did born, me would have sickle cell. And I wrote. I would write and write on end. My book and my pen, best friends.
Yes.
I write everything out. If I feel bad, I'm writing about it. If I feel good, I'm writing about it. If I had a horrible day, I'm writing about it. If I had a good day, I'm writing about it. A big part of my overcoming as well, I went to therapy.
Right.
I'm also very big on talking to somebody who is technically a stranger but is medically able to assist you overcome certain hurdles. Just like how you go to the doctor, it is okay to sit down to talk to a professional for your head space.
Yes.
Nothing is wrong with that. And so I still do therapy. It's a big part of my life. And so I think writing and therapy took me through a lot of it. But I also started to assess and become closer to persons who were like me.
Okay.
So instead of trying to fit into circles that were different or circle with people who had nothing in common, I stopped doing that. I started to actually engage with my community, because just like how cancer has an entire society,
Right.
wherever you are on the planet, there's a society for cancer.
Right.
There are societies for sickle cell persons.
Right.
And so that community is very important, because when you're hollering, only somebody who understands the level of pain that you're in would be able to
Right.
empathize and
Yes.
encourage you.
Yes.
And encourage you in a way that doesn't make you feel like, oh, you'd have no reason to be crying. At least they're alive, kind of
Right.
vibe.
Right.
But they truly understand and truly empathize. And so that was where advocacy started for me, because I realized that there were a lot of us with this same story.
Right.
It looked different, but it has the same story. And eventually I just started accepting the little things, like there's a the serendipity prayer, I think it is, or
Right.
I mean, help me to accept the things I cannot change. I
Right.
can't change the fact that I have sickle cell,
Yes.
so help me to accept it. I can't change the fact that my eyes are yellow, so help me to accept it.
Yes.
I can't change the fact that I can't go into cold water and I can't do the cold temperature them. So help me to accept it.
Yes.
What can I do to make myself more comfortable about the hand I've been dealt with? It's like you're playing blackjack and somebody give you a hand of cards. You just have to learn how to play the hand. That is what it is. You can't reshuffle the deck every time you get a new set a hand you don't like. So you just play it. And so
Wow.
I think my outlook started to change when I started to think about that aspect of it. And the more my outlook changed, the more I realized that I felt better about myself.
Yes. Yes.
So you can't tell me nothing about myself that I don't know already, you know.
Precisely. Precisely. Precisely.
I know I don't look like you. I know I am slim. I know I'm abnormally slim too. And I know I can't gain weight. And that's nothing that is because of sickle cell. It's simply because that's how I was born.
Right.
Because you do have persons who are overweight with sickle cell. So
Right.
I'm not slim because I have sickle cell. I'm slim because I am me.
Right.
And so even on a deeper level, I feel like we tend to want to change the things about ourselves we don't like. But for me, it was more of accepting the things I don't like.
Wow. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Perspectives. How you look at things.
Yeah, half instead of looking at the glass half empty, just it's half full. Yeah.
Yeah, generally, everyone has things that they're struggling with, you know,
Yeah.
and it's just about because I'm in my 30s and I have just even come to grips with certain things with myself. You know, this is who you are, despite whatever it is. And I said to somebody last week, listen, they had put out something about themselves. A number of people have put out things about themselves in books that they have
Yeah.
written, and they're afraid of what people are gonna say. And I said, it's your story. You already know about it. So if they talk about it, it's not news to you. You put it there. You
Yeah.
have put it out there for people to see. So they can't use what you have put out there against you. People can't use who you are against you. It's who you are.
And even if they choose to use it against you, you know what I've always learned? Because as an author myself, my first book is autobiographical. So therefore, it bears my story. But guess what? I could never write my full story in a book. There are pieces about you that people will never know.
Right.
And so, what you choose to show people will garner comments, whether negative or positive.
Yes.
But you also have to remember that these people don't know you. They don't know your true story, your full story. If you decide to continue to share your story, that's up to you.
Yes.
But you can't allow persons' words to impact the way you tell your story.
Ah.
And for them
Yes.
story, it is yours. And you can tell it 100 times if you feel like it. You can choose not to share it either if you feel like it. And you can choose to tell them what you need them to know and keep it pushing. Like it's your story. And nobody has the right to your story but you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's you're on point with that. You're on point with that.
Yeah.
For persons out there, I want you to talk to persons out there who have sickle cell and who are in a place of depression, or they are, people out there who probably want to commit suicide because of this, people out there who have lost hope, people who are lonely. I want you to tell people out there how to stand up, even while facing this, how to be their true selves, how to love on themselves, and how to be the best them despite everything that they're going through.
That's hard. And it's hard because I get it. I get why you would opt to not want to be here. I get why you would be depressed. I get why you would feel like you're constantly fighting and you've gotten to a place where you're just tired. I've been there. Sometimes I am there. You are me, I am you. But there's a phrase that my friend said to me, and it's become our little slogan. I have sickle cell, it not have me.
That's right.
I have sickle cell doesn't have me. And every time we say that phrase, we start to look at how much more we can be. You were made for more. And though it is that sickle cell has robbed you of a lot, you can't do this. The limitations are great. You are also limitless as a human being.
Yes.
Whilst the limitations of sickle cell continue to overshadow that, you have fight left in you. You're fighting daily and you're still here. So just one more step. And instead of thinking of next week, how about just thinking of tomorrow?
Yes.
What do you want to accomplish tomorrow? What do you want to do that you've never done before tomorrow? And live every day like that. Because the truth is, every day is like that.
Oh.
In the blink of an eye, we could be in the hospital. In the blink of an eye, we could be dead. However, you are not. And because you are not, it's worth celebrating. So if it means you go and buy yourself a cupcake or have an expensive meal that you don't need to have, it's okay to do it simply because you ended today and you're still alive. And that counts for something. I also like to tell people that I'm a different kind of girl. If you tell me I can't do it, I'm going to use that as my fuel to
Mm-hmm.
prove you wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so you mentioned in the beginning of the interview, which was a joke, that I'm doing a lot. And I mean, you make light of it. But when I think about it, I look at it as me being a warrior princess.
Yes.
My ability to do a lot doesn't mean that I'm doing a lot all at once.
Ah, okay, okay.
My ability to do everything doesn't mean that every day I get up and I'm filling every single capacity,
Right, right.
because I physically am not able to do that. But guess what? I can decide to own a company. I can decide to use my platform and my popularity to bring awareness, which is advocacy.
Right,
I can decide to use my passion for music as something more than just music.
right.
I can manage an artist. I can do 100 things, but it doesn't mean I'm juggling the 100 at the same time.
That's important. That's an important.
And so I keep telling persons the way I work, I look like I'm doing a lot all at once, but I have to be strategic because I know I am working with a body that has limited me to a certain routine. It has limited me physically, but my mind is still very broad. I can do a lot mentally. And because I can do a lot mentally, I say, okay, fine. Today I'm going to write one chapter, if so much. Sometimes it's just 3 pages. So if it takes me 5 years to write a book, it doesn't change the fact that I'm an author.
That's right.
If I'm going to, let's say, which is something we did the other day, whilst it is that my friends were on the falls, I was holding a snake. We were holding parrots. We were those things. You can do that in a moment,
Yes.
and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do it like everybody else.
Right.
Find your way to do it.
Yes.
Find a unique way that works for you health wise, works within the limitations that you are, but still somehow manages to breach the box that you've been placed in.
Right.
Don't put yourself in a box. There's so much more for you to accomplish, there's so much more that you could do. You are made for more because you have sickle cell, but it doesn't have you.
That's right.
Sickle cell doesn't dictate what you can and cannot do when it comes on to achievement.
Right.
And so, if you want a degree, go get a degree. It may take you 10 years, but at least at the end of that 10 years,
You will have a
you
degree.
would have had a degree.
Yes.
And don't walk the path that everybody else has been walking. You're expecting yourself to be normal. You are already not normal. So, what's the new way to doing it? What's the unique way to doing it? It may not look like a normal way, but it's your way. And so that's always my encouragement. Like, what are your goals? Write 5 things down that you need and don't put any limit on the time. Just do it one day at a time. And before you know it, you will have a portfolio that's as big as mine. Because I can tell you, I can tell you, Jade, like I never, when I thought about all the things I wanted to be, I never imagined that they would be done all at once.
Mm.
I started out doing one thing at a time. And so today, when people read my bio, they're like, oh my gosh, do you really have sickle cell? Because you're doing a lot.
Right.
I get it all the time. Every single interview, every single chat, every single person who meets me wonder how I get it done. It's been a journey, and so enjoy the journey.
Mm. Enjoy the
Um,
journey.
live the journey, love the journey. Just one day at a time. Yeah.
Well, we have come to the end of it. The entire script was changed. Thank you so much, Danielia, for that. You threw out
I'm sorry. It
everything.
wasn't
No, 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 no,
deliberate.
no, 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 no. Don't even apologize. I absolutely love it. even thought processes of things. You confirmed things for me. You have done a lot. It's mind blowing. It is.
Thank you.
Yes, and I really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. I want you to tell persons where is it that they can find you if they need to contact you, where they can follow you.
So I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can type in Daniellia. Now let me spell it. It is D as in dog.
Oh my God, she's gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it. No, I'm very serious. It's D as in dog, Aniellia. So Daniellia, White. On some platforms, you will see a capital A full stop in the middle, same person. And I think all my social media has the same picture for display picture because I've made it easy for everybody.
That's right.
And my social media has my contact information where it comes on to um, email, phone number, etc., etc. However, if you want my email is same Danielio, spell it D as in dog,
I
A
can't believe her.
N. I don't know why Jade laughing. Guys, no, I have to do this, guys, because people don't spell my name right all the time. And so, yeah. So it is D as in dog, Aniellia, organization with a Z at gmail.com. And that is the company's email address. So any department you want, they'll just lead you to the right place.
Bingo. She,
Bingo.
she made it that easy for you guys. That's easy for you. Ah, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you so much for the conversation. I enjoyed myself. I learned a lot.
Thank you so much for
And
having me.
no problem. And I'm sure persons out there will also get information, especially persons who, I mean, they are aware of the sickle cell but don't know about it. You have informed us about it today. So thank you for that. And thank you guys
My
for listening.
pleasure.
Yes. Thank you guys for listening to the Unfiltered by Jade. And we'll be back next week, Tuesday. Thank you.